Hello, everyone, and welcome to the box of fantastic fireworks that is the Guns and Yellow Ribbons preview show. Tonight it's myself, Ilsey, Fergus, and a debut for Sam, who we'll meet shortly. We're going to look ahead to the weekend's games as we always do, with an obvious bias on the mighty Arsenal's trip to the London Stadium. And we may just take a minute, just have a little look back at what a wonderful week we've had with the trip to Lisbon. Enjoy the show. Fergus, lights, camera, action.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
But this is going to be quite unusual because people have just got used to seeing you drunk and very drunk and even more drunk on YouTube over the last week in Lisbon. How was it, mate?
I tell you what, mate, I've not touched a bit since we got back, mate. It was a heavy trip, but it was a wonderful trip. You know, a couple of euros for a big pint of Sagres. Wonderful time with wonderful people, and the Arsenal played out their skin, didn't they? So what a great trip it was. Right, Sam, how you doing, mate? Have you been on the podcast before, Sam?
No, not on the podcast. I watch the podcast, but not on the podcast. So yeah, it's my first real showing on here now. So yeah,
Lovely,
it's quite good, really.
Don't worry, if you just follow me, you'll be fine. If you follow Fergus, you'll probably make a muck up. But we'll take it from there. How you doing, Ferg?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Good. Been a long week. Lots of stuff going on, but yeah, very jealous of you guys. Like me and Sam.
I enjoyed your drunken video, Trev. you had a skinful, mate, by that time.
I'm never that drunk when I'm with the Mrs. Sam. Well, at least I'm not admitting to it anyway. Yeah.
Was she worse than you?
What happened was he contacted me at about, I don't know, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, trying to wind me up that I'm at work and he's got a beer and he's pissed. And then I went, yeah, you promised and you put a video out there, said you're going to do all these videos of your stadium walk and everything else. And he forgot everything, absolutely everything. And then he had to do them all drunk.
Classic Trev, mate.
I've got a classic outtake video, which I'm not showing tonight. I might show it on Monday.
The reason he can't show it on here, Sam, is because it was just complete swear words, really, from me. Dan Gunning was winding me up and I was biting. So I didn't realise the missus was still filming. So yeah, what a great trip. We'll talk about it more on Monday, won't we, Ferg? You know, when we're talking about the win at West Ham, we'll obviously talk about the win in Lisbon as well. But I'm over the moon and
I'm pretty confident tomorrow.
Sorry, Sam?
So I'm pretty confident for tomorrow, if I'm honest. I've got a good feeling we're going to go on a nice run now. So
don't worry about it, Sam. We're going to talk about it shortly, but first we've got to go through the weekend's game, starting with the game that kicks off in just under an hour. Brighton v Southampton. Brighton at home. I can't see Southampton getting anything out of this game. That they seem to be just dropping away a little bit week by week. Having said that, they nearly got a draw last week. Then they just went down 3-2 to Liverpool, but I can't see anything other than a Brighton win. Ferg, I'm going to go to you first, and then we'll let Sam give us what he thinks on this game, mate.
Okay, well, Brighton have won the last 2 Premier League games, last winning 3 in a row in September 2013. They're unbeaten in 6 home league games, winning 3 and drawing 3. Southampton, as you say, they were really, really unlucky against Liverpool. I thought they were going to nick that game, and that would have been absolutely fantastic. But they've lost each of their last 9 Premier League away games. You know, are they going to do 10 in a row? I think they are. I cannot see anything but a home win, and I'm going Brighton 3, Southampton, unfortunately, 0.
Do you know what, Ferg? It's the one thing that result did do for me last week was make me think that Liverpool are not as good as people might think. You know, they're not flying. They're winning every game, but they're not worrying me too much. It's going to be interesting when we meet up again. But what do you reckon, Sam? What's going to be the score in this one, mate?
I can't really see Southampton getting much, if I'm honest. I think Brighton are just too good for them. Obviously, João Pedro coming back, he's been massive really for them. You know, I think he's such a top player. I mean, I wouldn't mind Arsenal like going in for him or, you know, having a little sniff to see what he's like. But yeah, I can't really see Southampton getting much out of the game. But saying that, last week, I mean, felt the same. You know, I thought they played really well last week. But the only thing that worries me with this Liverpool team is obviously they're not playing well, but they seem to just be nicking things, don't they? You know, like grabbing things like luck, like the goal that they got and the penalty last week. But yeah, I think it's fair to say Southampton will be going back down again next season. And yeah, Brighton just look a good team in general. I mean, I'm a fan of their manager as well. I mean, what is he, 30? I think he's 31, and he 32.
Yeah.
He's done a really good job, you know, being that young. And obviously as well, we all know Danny Welbeck. He's just been a complete revelation, isn't he, since he's been gone to Brighton. So, you know.
He has upped his game, hasn't he, Sam? He seems to be flying at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, so what's the score going to be then, Sam?
I'm going to go 3-0. Yeah, 3-0.
Do you know what? I've gone 3-0 as well, Ferg. So it's 3-0 all round, mate. What was you saying, Ferg?
Question for you guys. Aaron Ferguson was linked with Arsenal a little bit before he signed his extended contract. He then got injured. He's now struggling to get into the Brighton side. There's talks of him being available on loan in January, possibly from Brighton, possibly with an option to buy there afterwards. Is he a player you consider, Sam, Trev?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a player in there, but I don't think it's sort of like the player we need. You know, I think now, when I look at our squad, we just need a standout striker or someone who's going to come in and get goals. You know, I mean, we've always signed strikers with potential. I mean, I remember before, you know, Danny Welbeck, when he come to us, you know, we got him from United, paid, I think it was like 16 million for him. And we all knew he had potential. He had potential to do what he had to do. Obviously, he was unlucky with injuries, but I think we need to go and get like a proper talisman. That's what I want, you know what I mean? But he's a good player. I think he's a really, really good player. I just think he needs another couple of years, maybe at Brighton or another team, to then maybe see where he could end up, you know? So.
Well, as for me, I've never heard of him, so I can't really comment, you know. But
he's Irish roots. That's why Fergus has said it, probably.
Yeah. He's Ireland's number 9.
Yeah, he's their number 9. He's a good player, very good player. He's only young as well. You know, is he 22, 23?
He's not even that old. I think he's about 19, 20.
There you go. He's even younger. So
a lot of time to improve then and come on a bit, and maybe, who knows, maybe he would be a good asset to us. But we do need, in my view, I think we need someone that's proven when they come in at the moment. If we buy someone like that, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
you also got to buy someone that's proven at the moment.
He's not going to be one of them players who's going to come in and get you like, you know, 15, 20 goals. We need someone who's going to come in and just set the world alight, you know, that's what we need.
It's probably too high a level just yet for him if he's struggling to get, yeah.
So 3-0 all round then, boys. 3-0
It is
all round.
3-0, yeah.
Now the next one, Brentford v Leicester, right? Look, I looked at it and I thought Brentford should win here, but I mean, I'm not really a stats man, but if I was, you know, Brentford have never beaten Leicester in the Premier League. They've met 4 times, drawn twice, and lost twice. So is it Leicester, are they their bogey team? Is this where Brentford fall down? Now, much as Sam said just now, he likes a Brighton manager. I like Thomas Franks. I've got a lot of time for Thomas Franks. I think he works wonders at Brentford. And who knows how this is going to go, but I can't see Brentford losing me. What do you reckon, Sam?
I don't know. You know what? I think it's one of them games, yeah, where you can't really work out what it's going to be. I mean, Brentford score goals, but they leak a lot of goals as well. I mean, when they played Ipswich a few weeks ago, wasn't it? They ended up 4-3. And I don't know. I just think Leicester, new manager now as well. We've got Rude coming in. I just think you're going to get goals in this game. But I think Brentford will nick it, but I think it's going to be a close one. But I'm going to go like 3-2, something like that. That's what I think.
Plenty of goals then, mate.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's going to be one of them games, you know. Jan Wissa, I like him. I do like him as a forward. And another one I really do like from Brentford is in Burmo. Really good player. Really, really good player.
Ferg, are you all Sam, or do you think?
I'm going for a home win. Brentford have won more home games. They've got 16 points there and won 18. Scored 18 home goals in the Premier League this season, so they're good at scoring goals in the Premier League at home. They can generally win. Leicester can score. They've scored more goals in individual games. Of the 12 games they've played, they've scored in all 11 games. The only one that didn't score in was the Man United game.
It's definitely going to be goals in this game. You know.
But saying that, I've gone 2-0 Brentford.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think they're going to
Trev, you're on mute, mate.
Sure, thanks, mate. I'm meant to be in control here, and I'm letting the side down. Well, do you know what? I'm sorry, Sam, but I've gone with Ferg. I've gone for an even bigger Brentford win. I've gone 3-0 to Brentford over Leicester. I just think Brentford are going to be too strong at home, and Leicester, they're going to struggle a bit. So
we'll see.
Yeah, that'll do for me. So the next one now. This next match, right? Oh my Lord, I cannot get excited. Well, I'm looking at 2 lists here, so we'll do Crystal Palace v Newcastle first. All right.
Yep.
Crystal Palace v Newcastle. Right, where are we? Palace just don't seem to be firing, do they? Newcastle, yeah, they're performing all right. I can't find the notes on this one, Ferg. Where have they gone, son?
Page 2.
Oh yeah, yes. Now I know. Yeah, Crystal Palace v Newcastle. Crystal Palace at home v Newcastle. Home advantage, yeah, it's going to give Palace a bit of a lift, I would think. But they are struggling, aren't they, Ferg? They are struggling. Can they beat Newcastle at home, Ferg?
I don't think they can quite beat them. They've just got 1 win in and 8 points from the 12 Premier League games. They really are struggling. Newcastle have lost 6 of their last 8 visits to the capital. So Newcastle don't like London very much. I don't think Palace are strong enough. I don't know what's wrong there. They just haven't clicked this season. I'm going for a score draw, as Heath has said, and I'm doing a 1-1. Palace 1, Newcastle 1.
1-1. Sam, do you agree with Ferg?
Yeah, I'm going draw for that. Palace, I don't know what's on with Ferguson. I don't know what's happened this season. I thought they was going to really kick on. Eddie's not seemed to hit the ground running over there. I don't know what's happened with Eddie. I thought he'd go over there and get him goals. Mateta looks like he's died down a bit, which I find really strange because back end of last season he couldn't stop scoring goals. I must admit I'm a fan of Adam Wharton, who plays in midfield. I think he could be a really, really good player. I don't really see him being at Palace for much, much longer. But yeah, Newcastle's one of them teams, and they'll play really, really well, and then they'll have games like Monday when they play West Ham, and you just think, you can't really work them out, can you? You know what I mean? Isak's obviously the main man. I wouldn't mind him at Arsenal, if I'm honest. If we was going to go and get a striker, it'd probably be between Isak and I'm trying to think of the other guy's name now, but Isak's definitely one I'd like. And that Gyökeres as well. That's all I liked. But I just think, it's one of them games where you're not going to see a lot of goals, I don't think. So I'm going with Ferguson's 1-1.
All right then, mate. Well, do you know what I forgot to say? I was watching Sky Sports News before we came on live, and Palace have got Eze back this week. And
is he back? Is he? That's big. That's big. So, actually.
I like the way Eze plays the game. I really do.
Yeah, he's a good player.
But I've got a feeling that I like Eze. I think he might make a difference. And I'm not keen on Newcastle at the moment because they beat us up there, and I'm still not forgiving them.
I'll be honest. I think they made a mistake getting rid of Elise, wouldn't it? Really, I thought if you're picking the 2 that you to get rid of, you wouldn't get rid of Elise. I think Elise's miles ahead of Eze. But yeah.
Do you? Oh, all right. Okay then.
I think personally.
Well, I've gone for a 2-1 win to Palace. I think that they're going to beat Newcastle. Their season's going to turn a little bit, and they're going to turn Newcastle over. It's just come up on the screen that we know now definitely Van Nistelrooy is the new Leicester manager.
Yeah, I was right. Yeah.
Does that mean we all hate Leicester now? Does it? Because
I can't stand him.
Yeah. Just before we move on to the next game, it's interesting, Ferg, in that I'll come to you, Fergie, in that Sam mentioned that Goicares, or however you pronounce it. Goicares. And I thought he was really good the other night for Sporting Lisbon. Ferg, I'd still like us to sign him. He got no change out of Saliba and Gabriel. And when he did, when any of them did, Reyes was on top form. But he tried his heart out all night, that Goicares. And
I thought Goicares was quite good. I thought he was the only one who was trying to create anything for Lisbon, and he was their only real outlet and threat. Not that they had much of a threat, but I think between Gabriel and Saliba, sorry, I don't want to start you off again. He's been singing that all day. Between Goicares and between Saliba and Gabriel, I thought we were just outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And if you want to expand on the players that played really well, I thought Timber, Saka, and Odegaard just combined.
We had
just unreal.
It just like we had that. For me, it was we finally have a settled back four. Like we've been chopping and changing the back four all season. You know, and finally we got Timber and Calafiori playing their positions, and then obviously
Question for you, Sam. So Ben White becomes available again. Say Timber, Ben White, Calafiori are all available. You're playing Saliba and Gabriel in the centre, and you've got to pick two out of those three.
Oh, mate, it's a tough one, you know, because I must admit, Calafiori, he's some player, isn't he? I just think he's controlling the ball. You know, he's strong. But I love Ben White, man. I think Ben White gives us a different dimension. And with Saka, he knew that interchange between him and Saka down that right-hand side. It seems to cause problems, doesn't it? You know, I'm still sticking up with Ben White, if I'm honest. But one thing we've got now is, you know, Calafiori's in. You ain't going to miss Ben White when we've got these injuries now, you know. So that's one thing that we have got is good backup. But yeah, I'm with you on the Goicares. I think if there's any striker that Arsenal's going to need to go and sign, it's him. I mean, he reminded me of like an old centre forward. You know what I mean? Every time he got the ball on a half turn, he was trying to look to smash the ball at goal. You know what I mean? I mean, he hits the ball like 50 to 70 mile an hour every time. Then he tries smashing it through the net. And obviously, as soon as we lost, I think it was Gabriel, was it, who come off, or Saliba, he brought Kivior on. As soon as we dropped that one man, he had that one ball in behind me, he ran behind, and then he smashed it off the post. You know what I mean? So it's just, obviously, our centre-backs were so good Tuesday. I think that's why he didn't get a sniff. But, yeah, I think he's a serious striker there we've got, you know, if we can get him.
What's the matter? You asked a question, Ferg. What are you sitting there like a stuffed dummy for? You asked a question.
I asked the question. What's my opinion? But I would.
No, what's my opinion? You can have yours in a minute.
Well, you could have answered it rather than bitching and you know, just answer the question then.
Yeah, but that's not so much fun, is it?
No.
What was the question again?
Would you have Ben White over Calafiori?
No, not Ben White over Calafiori. So yeah, it would be Ben White over Calafiori in what I'm thinking. But you have Ben White, Timber, and Calafiori all available. Yeah. Who of the two are you using?
If it's my first choice, it's Ben White and Timber all day long for me, because Ben White has not let us down. And the fact that we've got Calafiori waiting there to play, and Kivior after Calafiori, fills me full of confidence. And as Danny's put in the chat there, Ferg, it's really nice to have this problem for once, isn't it? Really nice to have this problem, yeah.
I'm not really sold on Kivior for me. I just don't think he's good enough, but that's my opinion.
But you feel like the third or fourth or fifth choice, you know what I mean? There's levels, mate. But yeah, you're right. Hopefully we don't have to use Kivior too much anyway. But listen, we drifted, right? We've got to move this along now, right? So the next game on here is I can't get excited about this game, right? Forest and Ipswich. I just can't. I just don't. It's not a game that I would ever want to watch, you know. So yeah, Forest at home to Ipswich. They should win. They've won at Forest have won at Liverpool this year, haven't they? And so you look at the form, and they should win. Ipswich, though, have been a bit unlucky in a few games, you know. So they've not been blown away completely. They've been in or thereabouts, you know. So Forest going to win at home, Sam, or Ipswich going to cause a bit of an upset?
Do you know what? I'm going 2-1 Ipswich here. I just think the performances of Ipswich last few games, they've been so unlucky. You know, they've played really, really well. I mean, I must admit, for the team that come up from obviously the Championship, they're the only ones that have really looked like a team that's willing to stay in the Premier League. You know what I mean? Really like Liam Delap. I think he's a great player. I think I read something the other day that, you know, City have got a clause in his contract so he could go back there if they wanted him. Hopefully he don't, because I think he's a really top player, and we don't want City getting good players back, really, do we?
Might do all right in Division 2.
He might do, yeah. Obviously they got was it the young lad Hutchinson? He was obviously in the Highland Academy, wasn't he? So, you know, he's doing well. But yeah, I really do like the look of Ipswich, and I really like their manager as well. I think he's doing a great job with them. So I'm going a 2-1 Ipswich win. I just think Forest have last few games just dropped off a bit. You know what I mean? So
2-1 to Ipswich. All right, yeah. That's an interesting call, Sam, but that's what we're here for. But listen, Ferg, right? They've met 4 times in the Premier League in the past, and they've won 2 each, right? So this is a decider, best of 5. Forest at home. Sam thinks there's going to be a surprise away win. Ferg?
I think it's going to be a home win. I'm going Forest 2, Ipswich 1. The reason behind that is Forest had lost only against Liverpool in the first 10 Premier League games. They'd only lost 1 game. They've lost the last 2 games, both by 3 goals plus. That was against Newcastle, 3-1 against Newcastle and 3-0 against Arsenal. I don't think they were too bad against Arsenal, but they just, I think they wrote the game off. And, you know, didn't have a shot on target, but they did look a tricky team. Ipswich have been unlucky, as you say. They are better than I think the table is saying. I thought they were one to go straight down. I think they could fight and possibly stay up, and I'd love to see them stay up. It would be good to see a team like that stay up. They've drawn more games in the Premier League than any other team. They've drawn 6. I can't see them scoring. You know what? They're really interesting to watch when they play football, though. I watched the Ipswich Spurs game, Spurs Ipswich, and I watched the Ipswich Man United game, and they're proper old school 4-4-2. They're industrial. Yeah. They're really hard to break down.
Dogged, didn't they?
Dogged. Yeah, they're really, really, really good to watch.
In your face.
Oh, yeah, and as you said,
Portland Road's going to be a tough place to go this year. You know, to get points.
I think you're right, Sam. I think you're right. But yeah, Forest, I think at the City ground are just going to be that much better, because similar sort of ground as Ipswich, is close, is tight, it's noisy. We've been there and we've heard the noise that they can make at that stadium. So I'm gone 2-1 to Forest.
Right. So Sam's gone for Ipswich, you've gone for Forest. Believe it or not, boys, I can't split them. I've gone for a draw. I reckon it's going to be possibly 1-1. I reckon I'm going to go for 1-1 because Ipswich ain't been letting anyone else letting themselves down. They've been there or thereabouts. Nottingham Forest are at home with the crowd behind them, so I think that weighs itself up. And I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Right. So the next one, I'm bearing in mind we've got to be done in an hour, right? So I'm going to get this done in an hour. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Bournemouth. Now, Wolves are a bit like, for me, they've been a bit like Ipswich. Obviously, they're a more established Premier League side, Wolves. But they've been in games and they've even been leading games, haven't they? And they've been pegged back and they've not been getting the results that we thought they might get. Bournemouth, absolutely flying. Beat us, beat City, playing well, but maybe not so well away from home, Ferg. How's this one's going to go?
I'm finding it hard to split them. I thought I would have given it to Bournemouth as a Bournemouth win, but Wolves have won the last 2 Premier League games. That striker they've got begins to see Cunha, outstanding. His 2 goals last weekend were absolutely brilliant. Bournemouth, they've won the 4 Premier League games they've won are against relegation fodder, are top of the league. They've won against Man City and Arsenal and Everton and Southampton. I can't split them. I think it's going to just be a 1-1. You're on mute, mate. you want me to do it for you?
That's me on mute, and I have my arrow on the other screen, and I've got right in a tangle. And I'm sorry, everybody. Right, Sam,
Yes.
can you split them?
I'm going to Wolves win. I think Wolves' last few games have just started to show what they are. I think Cunha's a great player. He got 7 goals and 3 assists already this season. You know, that's great numbers as well. I think Bournemouth have got Semenyo out as well, and obviously Semenyo's their Cunha player. He's the player who makes them play, gets them dictating. So that's a massive loss for them this weekend. Obviously being away as well. So I'm going to go a 3-1 Wolves win.
All right, mate. Now you see, I'm just going to come. To you, back to you again, Ferg, on this one there, right? What did you expect from Bournemouth this year at the start of the season? Did you have any thoughts? What did you think they were going to struggle, or?
I thought they'd hover around 14th, 15th. I didn't think they'd struggle because I thought the team that would struggle more. I thought Ipswich would go straight back down. I thought Southampton would go straight back down, and I thought Everton might get dragged into that, but they seem to be doing okay. No, I didn't see Bournemouth as one of the relegation lot.
If you'd said to me at the start of the season that Bournemouth were going to beat Manchester City and Arsenal, I would have.
Never believed that. Never believed that.
I would have laughed in your face, you know. So we played particularly badly there, So whether it was their great performance or us just being bad on the day, I don't know. But
poor officiating.
10 men didn't help either, did it really, Trev? You know what I mean? I think if it was 11-11, I don't think we'd have lost the game. Not saying we'd have won, but I think it'd just been a different game.
Yeah, and we don't want to talk about the sending off, do we?
Because I can't talk about it.
Going to move it on a little bit, right? I'm going to move it on a little bit, right? Chelsea v Villa. This interests me, this game, because Villa have fallen off a cliff, haven't they? And at the start of this season, I thought that Chelsea would fall off a cliff this season. I really genuinely did. No, you know, all these players, all this new manager and squad players all over the place. I couldn't see Chelsea doing what they're doing. And credit to them, they're playing really well, aren't they? And they're winning games and they're right up there now. And Villa have fallen off a cliff. So, Sam, does the run continue for Chelsea, or do Villa find a way to get back into this season?
It's a tough game, isn't it? You think of it like, you know, because for me, both teams concede goals. I mean, Chelsea are good going forward, but they leak so many goals still. I mean, I think the goalkeeper's a problem. I'm not a fan of the goalkeeper. I don't think the centre-backs are good enough for Chelsea either. Obviously, because Caicedo and players like I mean, Neto. I don't know why we didn't go and try and get Pedro Neto. You know, I think wasted talent going to Chelsea. I think he'd have done a great job for us. And yeah, like you say, Villa's just the last few weeks just seems to have fallen off a bit. You know, start of the season they were looking really strong. I think it's more with the European games now as well affecting them. The midfielder they've got, is it Morgan Rogers? I think he's a great player. Probably their best anchor player they've got. But it's one of them games where you think it just could be goals. So I'm going to go 2-2. I just think it's going to be a draw, score draw, 2-2.
Yep, I can see that. Do you know what, Ferg? I read something or heard something on the TV this week that the Villa fans, after their game in Europe this week, the Villa fans were starting to get on what's his name's back on
Unai Emery's
back a little bit, and that hadn't happened before. But they're on his back a little bit. Is he going to turn it around against Chelsea, Ferg, or is Chelsea too good?
No, I think Chelsea at home form are probably better. I think Chelsea are in the ascendance, where Villa are like still struggling. They're struggling with all the European football, the Champions League football.
Yeah,
I think
squad depth.
Squad depth is a problem for them. Morgan Rogers is outstanding. Ollie Watkins is a brilliant striker. But Sam's right. Chelsea have a problem. They've got a problem with their keeper. They've conceded at least one goal in the last 6 Premier League games. He's awful. But I still think Chelsea will just have that bit too much for Villa at the moment. And it'll be 2-1 to Chelsea.
2-1. You see, we're saying that Chelsea have got problems with these players. And yeah, the goalkeeper's not the best in the league by a long way. but they're still winning every game. They're still winning game after game after
Yeah,
game.
they're gonna though. The attacking players they've got on the like, if you think about all the players they've got, I mean, Jadon Sancho, Neto, Palmer, you've got Nkunku who don't play but scores goals every week. You know what I mean? And he's got Nicholas Jackson who's scoring goals. They've got all this attacking threat, so they're gonna score goals. But for me,
it's a bit like when Klopp first started.
Yeah,
he was like, "You score 2, we'll score 3."
I mean, I must admit, when we played them the other week, I thought if we'd have not been, we'd probably 60%. We went Stamford Bridge. I think if we'd have been another 20%, I think we'd have beaten them 2 or 3. Because the defence is so poor. I mean, I just think that Levi Colwill. I'm trying to think the other centre back there, Disassi. I can't pronounce it. I just think they've got no cohesion of pairing. Of like how to play with each other. And there's no system with the back four, like we have a system of how we play. There's no system the way they play from the goalkeeper to defence. So that's a problem for me with Chelsea.
What are you going for, Trev?
I think Chelsea are gonna just be too good on the day. I can go for a 1-0, low scoring, 1-0. I just think Chelsea are going to keep going. To be honest. Now the next game, Man United Everton with their new manager, right? They've won their last 4 Premier League games against Everton, Man United, right? And Everton have won just one of their last 31 away games. So everything is saying Man United are going to come good and Man United are going to beat Everton. But it's a funny old game, and they only drew in midweek, and Rashford was embarrassing. I don't know if you've seen the short film doing the rounds today where Rashford's coming on as a sub and he takes his gloves off and the bloke's standing there to take them off him and he just throws them on the floor and the poor bloke has to bend over and pick them up. I thought that was disgusting from Rashford. And if I'd have been a bloke that had to pick him up, I wouldn't be working for Man United anymore because I would have said something and I'd have got the sack for standing my ground against him. So Man United, Everton, it's all pointing towards Man United. Ferg, what's happening, mate?
Ruben Amorim's first league game at home at Man United. He won all 22 games at home in the league in charge of Sporting and an aggregate of 72-13. You could see some stuff coming together. I didn't watch the game last night, but I believe they were 2-0 down and they ended up beating Bodo Glimt 3-2. He's obviously getting something working for them. Everton have failed to score in 6 Premier League games, more than anybody else that failed to score. They're having problems scoring. Calvert-Lewin, I don't think is good enough. I think the guy is just always injured. I don't think it's going to be an exciting game. I think it's going to be a home win. I think it's going to be a 1-0 Everton. That's it. It's going to be a cracker. It's going to be a cracker 5-5.
Then, if it's a 1-0 Everton, that's an away win.
No, 1-0 Man United. Sorry.
All right, then. I'll let you off. Yeah. Sam, what do you reckon? Do you agree with Ferg, mate?
Yeah, I think I think United are going to nick probably a goal, probably 1-0 or 1-1. Yeah, they weren't convincing again the other night. I mean, I was a bit worried because we've got United coming up. I was a bit worried, thinking, maybe they'll get new manager bounce and everything else. But there's so many problems in it. It's like deep in the roots for Man United. I mean, they look like a shadow of us, a few seasons ago at the minute. But yeah, Sean Dyche seemed to steady the ship with Everton. I was with Fergus on that. I thought Everton were going to be the ones dragged into relegation battles and that this season. But it seemed to have done all right. But I'm going for 1-0 Man United.
1-0 Man United.
There's talk of a takeover Everton and Dyche is at the door as soon as the new owners come in.
There's talk of you talking when you're not needed to talk. I thought I was leading this show, Fergus.
Yeah, you see what Thought did.
Listen, I'm not worried about them coming to the Emirates in a couple of weeks. Oh, it's next week, and it under lights.
It's Wednesday night, isn't it?
I don't think this manager can turn that team around in that short time. We'll be too good for them at home next week, Man United. But we're talking about this week. Yeah, I don't think they'll be brilliant, Man United. And I think Everton might go and lift their game there at Man United, big stadium. And I reckon it's going to be a draw. I don't know why I think it's going to be a draw. I can put no reasoning at all behind it. But I've gone for Man United 2, Everton 2, yeah?
Ooh,
So now,
2-2.
yeah, I don't know why I think that's going to be the score, but I do. So
They
yeah,
don't score a lot of goals away from home, Evan, do they? That's the only thing I find. You know,
times will change. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but anyway, listen. We've got to talk briefly about this next game now, right? I'm going to come to you, Sam, in a second for the first talk on this. Tottenham v Fulham, right? You don't know what's happening with Angeball, do you? I saw an interview he did on the sports channels today where he's saying, yeah, we may have only drawn 2-2 during the week against that side, but I'm never going to change the way I play. That's me. You're getting entertainment. We're going to play entertaining football. Well, I'm sorry, Big Ange, but you're just showing your naivety there, mate, in my view, in that playing entertaining football like that clearly doesn't win you games in the Premier League very often. Yeah, you might win 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 and look fantastic, but ain't going to win your silverware, So Big Ange keeps playing as he is. I think he's going to be in trouble, to be honest. Fulham, at the end of last season, I hated Fulham because I thought Fulham had cost us the league when we lost there. When Saka scored early last season, we still lost. But they're growing on me again now because Smith Rowe's playing out of his skin, I think, and makes me more sad about losing him every week. Even Iwobi's banging goals in. So I think Fulham might nick a win at Tottenham. I think it'll be one of them days. I'm gonna put my score in here first, right? I'm going 1-0 Fulham at Tottenham. Sam, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I think Fulham. I think Fulham going to get something. Spurs are just like a bag of rebels, aren't they? 1 week they play all right, and then the next week they'll go and lose to bloody Ipswich. You know what I mean? That's pretty much the concept of it. And you are right, he's naive and that, he can't seem to change the way he wants to play. He's my way only, doesn't matter who we're playing against, we're going to set up the same way. And yeah, I think Fulham's just... Smith Rowe's made the difference for Noni, you know what I mean? He's been their player that's sort of ticked them on, and as well, I've got to give a shout out to Reece Nelson because the last few weeks he's been practically in the team, every week playing really, really well. And yeah, and I do like Marco Silva. I think he's a really good manager. So I'm going to go 2-1 Fulham on this one.
2-1. Yeah, because maybe that's a better call than I done, Sam, because Spurs do score a goal, don't they?
They do grab a goal, but I think Fulham are going to nick 2-1. Raul Jimenez with a goal or something,
Yeah. So, Ferg, listen, right? Tottenham have lost just one of their last 14 Premier League home games against Fulham. They've lost one. Is it going to be 2 this week, Ferg?
They lost that game 3-0 in March last year. Ange is quite stubborn, set in his ways. Can't even think who that could remind me of. Can't even think of who that could remind me of. So yeah, but Spurs they're alternating between a win and a loss, win and a loss, win and a loss. They've won 4 and lost 3. They won against City against all the odds on Saturday night, so they're going to lose at at the toilet bowl. They're going to lose 1-0 to Arsenal D.
Yeah, I think
Arsenal D.
As I just said, I think Fulham will nick a win there 1-0, but then we wouldn't have it any other way, would we? But it's good, that attitude. I couldn't believe what I was hearing when I saw him talking on the telly today.
I think he just grinds my gears. I don't know if it's because he's Australian or what, but every time he talks about it, I just think, mate, he's just waffling, and he's got no... I like this way. This is how I play, and I just think, wait, no,
that don't win your Premier Leagues. That costs you jobs, So yeah, so we've all gone for a Fulham win at Tottenham, which I'm not surprised about in the slightest. Not surprised.
Never want them to win, Trev. Do we? Really? Let's be real.
We never will want them to win. Hopefully. Now Sunday, right? All I've heard all day today is it's a massive game on Sunday. Liverpool at home against Manchester City. It's a massive game. 2 of the greatest sides that the Premier League's ever seen playing each other at Anfield. Come on, give me a break. City ain't won a game for about 6 weeks. This ain't a game, is it? Surely Liverpool going to walk this, and they, Ferg?
They've only won once against Man City, and that was in October 22. They've drawn 5, lost 3. it's Anfield, you know, the noisy, famous, really, really raucous stadium that we all know is all plumbed with loudspeakers. City, there's something going on behind the scenes of City. There's definitely trouble. But City are capable of goals. They've got Haaland, and we got Salah on Liverpool's side. So I think there's going to be goals. I'm hoping it's going to be an entertaining game. I'm also hoping it's probably going to be a draw. I'm going 2-2.
2-2. You see, I don't think it's going to be a draw, but I do think there's going to be goals. Sam, what do you reckon?
I think, I don't know. You know when teams, because like obviously City on this run at the minute, losing games, everything else. Are just these sort of games, like like when a team needs something, and obviously Pep needs a result. These are the sort of games he'd probably get something, if you know what I mean. Something just out of the blue. And obviously because everyone's Liverpool top of the league. They're going to absolutely spank them, everything else. And I just think when anyone talks like that about it, I just think it's not going to end up like that. I think Konate has actually just been confirmed he's out as well on Sunday. I see saying earlier saying that he's out.
Right.
So that's a massive loss because him and Van Dijk have obviously been the main partnership and they keeping the goals out as well. So for me, I'm probably gonna go 1-1. That's what I'm gonna go.
That would suit the Arsenal, really, wouldn't it?
It's a great result for us, wouldn't it?
I mean, if we want anyone to win it, we want the City to win it. But a draw would be a great result for us. When Fergus disappears like that, Sam, that means that his old bladder's playing up and he's had to go and visit the toilet. Look, right, Pep's been doing a lot of talking this week, right? And to be honest with you, I think most of what he said is a pile of crap, just words for the sake of saying words, in that lovely tone that Pep can do, that sort of makes words sound like they mean more than they actually do,
He has lost the plot a bit, isn't he? I think,
I think he has. But I honestly think that he will turn it around. You don't be there. I know he's had loads of money, so he's just bought who he's wanted to win them trophies. But I think he's going to turn it around this weekend. I think City are going to nick a win. But like you said, Sam, I think there's going to be goals in this game. I think there's going to be plenty of goals.
I just think it's so naive to write them off. You know what I mean? And City, we know how good they are. All right, they've lost games. I mean, I'll be honest. Midweek, they didn't exactly play bad against Feyenoord. You know what I mean? I think it's just because they're on this run at the moment. As soon as a goal goes in, their heads go, and that's it. They drop. And I think that's what any team does, when we on a bad run, we seem to do the same. But I just think it's naive. People going, Liverpool going to spank them. It's going to be like 3-0 or whatever. I just think, nah. If anyone's going to get something out of it, it'd be City. That's what I think. And obviously, Konate being out now, I think that's a massive loss for Liverpool. Especially he's the anchor of their team, especially with Van Dijk next to him. So it's interesting to see what that's going to favour now, So
I'm going 3-2 with Liverpool. I think there's going to be goals. I think it's going to be quite open. As you said, Sam, they've lost a key defender, Liverpool. Man City will have had a rocket this week. I think the Man City might go there and nick a win, but who knows, right? So listen, right, we've got about 5 minutes or so, just over. We've got to talk about the game of the weekend. Obviously, the late kickoff tomorrow, West Ham v Arsenal. Arsenal absolutely smashed them into the stratosphere last year, didn't they? We played.
That was probably one of the best days last year away from home with the Arsenal.
That's when Trevor became famous.
Oh, you both did, didn't you?
we played so well, right? We played so well, and it wasn't even a close competition. Declan Rice scored.
And then Rice binning one in the top corner from 20 yards to finish it off. Just rounded it off, didn't it? So.
But the quality on the day that came from Arsenal was astonishing. Ferg, can we repeat it again? How does it go, mate, tomorrow?
Since the beginning of 22-23 season, out of 26 London derbies, we've only lost 2. One of those was to West Ham, and that was at our place Christmas when we had that problems with Fulham and them, where there's that, and then the Villa game later in the season, which probably lost us the title. You know what? I would have gone there extremely confident because I thought Newcastle were going to smash West Ham, but then West Ham done Newcastle 2-0, which absolutely threw all the West Ham fans I know. They didn't expect anything up there. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I do think because we got Odegaard, Timber, and Saka the way we played the other night, I don't think it's going to be a 6-0. I do think our defence with Saliba and Gabriel and Calafiori will keep a clean sheet. And I think we'll get a couple of goals. So I'm going to Arsenal 2, West Ham 0.
See, that's a really interesting point you make there, Fergie. Now, up until last weekend, I'd have said, no, West Ham ain't got a chance here. They ain't got a breath. But yet, if you go and win at Newcastle, you've got to have some kind of form, you know. You've got to have something about you to go and win at Newcastle. So, do West Ham carry that form into this week, Sam, or are the Arsenal just too good?
Well, from the analysis of the game on Monday when they played, obviously they got a great result up there. But let's not deflect from the fact that, in the first half, Newcastle had 3 or 4 massive chances that they missed. I mean, Isak missed one from like 6 yards, 7 yards out, just past the post. If that goes in, I think you're talking about a different game, aren't you? You know what I mean? But for me, what I see on Tuesday, that was Arsenal the back end of last season. Dominating the game from front to back. Dominating from the press, dominating from the midfield, the back four giving away nothing because we've got a settled back four. Obviously, Odegaard. We all know what Odegaard does. He's just another level. I think for me, he's the best central attacking midfielder in the Premier League. Like, if you take De Bruyne out of it, he's definitely the one you're going to pick. That's going to be the man who's the highest of his peak. But I think for us, we're just going to be too strong for them tomorrow. I think off the back of that win, they're going to be brim with confidence. So I'm going 3-0 Arsenal. I've already put it down on my betting slip for 3-0. And I think that Declan Rice is going to get one as well. So, yeah.
Sam, are you upper tier or lower tier?
I don't know yet tomorrow.
Oh,
I'm not too sure.
Because if you're lower tier, you don't want to get on the telly with him like we did last year.
But yeah, me and Trev will be at the game tomorrow. So I'm sure I'll see you at some point tomorrow, Trev.
Of course we will, mate. Of course I'll see you. Now, listen, just want to top this game off, right? We still don't know if Gabriel's fit. We're not going to find out, are we, till the teams are announced tomorrow? Because Arteta's not going to tell us. I've got a feeling he will be fit.
What, has he had a knock, is he?
Gabriel? Yeah, he had a knock. He went off against against Lisbon. He went off against Lisbon, and Kivior came on for him, which on the night was fine. But
I thought it was just a sub who come off. Like,
yeah.
I didn't think.
No, he had a bit of a knock.
No, he should be all right.
He's the only other doubt. I know that Saliba's fine. I know that for fact. So, I think we're going to be much too strong for West Ham. I think that the win away at Newcastle last week was just a shot in the dark. It was just one of them things that's going to happen, Royce.
As a Premier League result, when you just get them one-off games, you just think, how did that happen?
But it's been happening all season, all over the place. This league this season has been like really random. There's been some random results, like the Ipswich Spurs one.
Yeah.
There's loads.
There's loads you can go off. I mean, but I personally think for me, I said if we get like Tuesday's result, I just think now we're going to go on this run. Like we seem to be. That was the form we was in last season, the back end of last season, and I just got this feeling we're going to now just kick on, and it starts tomorrow night.
I think the Forest result getting.
Wait a sec. Because before it goes out of my head, do you know what my memory's like?
Yeah.
Heath's put a really interesting point up there. Mikel will rest Gabriel. Now, we just said we've got the substitutes and the extra
not that he's drinking Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey.
Oh, right. Okay. Could we afford to rest Gabriel and play Calafiori, Timber, and Saliba?
Because if you're resting Gabriel, who are you putting at fullback? Obviously, if you're moving Calafiori,
you could put Timber or Calafiori alongside Saliba, probably Calafiori alongside.
Yeah, but who you putting as your fullback?
You'd have to drop Partey down to the right back and Timber to left back. I don't like it.
This thing with Partey fullback, it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? I mean, how good Partey has been our best player this season. Let's be real. I mean, he was outstanding on Tuesday.
He was.
You want him in the midfield. If you got that free midfield, if we play that free midfield tomorrow with Rice, Partey, Odegaard, we win the game. That's what I think, because that midfield is just so dominant in possession, winning the ball back, and I just think West Ham ain't going to live with that, So,
yeah. I agree, Sam. That midfield is what wins us games. With Odegaard in front of Partey and Rice,
it's just
chasing them down.
And then you've got Odegaard who can then press from the front, and then the press starts with him, and then Havertz starts with, with the extra press, you know what I mean? And then by then we win the ball back, you know what I mean? And that's all comes from the stem of that midfield, because no one can get through it, So,
and do you know what's been nice as well? He took and I'm not saying this lad is anywhere near the standards of Odegaard. Yeah, he's got a long way to go, but you can see he's got the enthusiasm and the fitness. When he took Odegaard off during the week, Nwaneri came on for the last 10 minutes. Nwaneri's energy levels, and more importantly, his confidence on the ball.
He's great. He's
hardly noticed.
You saw him against Forest. His first. He came on the 82nd minute, and by the 83rd minute, he'd already taken one shot on target. And he scored on the 84th minute.
You know if he's a good player, when you've got a young kid like that coming on, and then all the senior players, the first thing they're doing is giving him the ball. That says it all, really. You know what I mean? And what was it? The first cameo he does when he goes at Forest, he dummies the defender, does a step over, and then he bends it in the bottom corner. Yeah, and it's. Well, the one thing
would you give him more time, Sam? Would you give him more time?
No, like what he's doing now, I think that's enough for him. You know what I mean? Bring him on, 20 minutes to go, or if we're 1-0 down or it's 1-1, you bring him on with Odegaard. I don't want us to do, because for me, Nwaneri is one of them players at the minute. He's reminding me of how Jack Wilshere was. When Jack Wilshere broke in the team, he had the same thing. He was so good on the ball, and we was all like, mate, this player's unbelievable, wasn't he? He had that game against Barcelona. But Wenger ended up playing him too much, you know what I mean, and burnt him out, and then that's
what I was going to say. So many people were calling for Nwaneri to play in the place of Odegaard. Did Arteta make an error while Odegaard was out injured of not playing him more?
It's a young kid, isn't he? 17 years old, you know what I mean? I think it's a lot for a kid. I think personally what Arteta's doing right now, just managing him properly, just filtering him inside and out the team. When we get in the League Cup, he's playing him. The older he gets, the more minutes he's going to get. Full well the way he's playing at the moment, and obviously for a kid that young, there's no way in hell he's not going to get in the team at some stage in his career at Arsenal. He's too good. He's way too good.
Listen, when we've got all our squad fits, Nwaneri don't get in the team, and if Arteta says he's getting so much game time, then I trust Arteta. So I'm not gonna have any. I've not got no opinion on what he does with Nwaneri, because I think Arteta knows what he's doing. Yeah. And if we've got a fit squad, Nwaneri don't get in the team at the moment.
No, he's not. He's still a young kid as well, isn't he? You know what I mean? 17 years old. He just needs time. Give it 2 years, he'd probably be in that squad full time. You know what I mean? Because obviously you'll have players like Partey move on. Rice will be a bit more senior, so he'll probably move a bit further forward or something or whatever, So we'll see. But
anyway, you boys have had your say. I'm going to go for the same as last year. I'm going to go 6-0 to the Arsenal. I think we'll fight. I think we'll upset West Ham again.
Trev, I'll buy you several beers if it's 6-0 again, mate, tomorrow.
Well, stranger things have happened, young man, young Sam. Stranger things have happened. Listen,
the steak bakes will be on Sam.
It will be, yeah. Greg's on me, mate.
So we're going to put that to bed now. We've all gone for the Arsenal win. Look, Ferg, get ready to press the button, because Ferg's going to press the button. Then I've got one thing I want to talk about for a couple of minutes when we get back. Then we'll wrap it up. Play the music, maestro.
I love that every time. Love
Yeah, I'm glad you featured my video.
it. We asked.
Yeah,
Right,
I know.
listen,
That's quality.
listen,
I
boys,
forgot
wait a
about
minute.
that day.
Listen, we've got a couple of minutes, right? And I want to talk for a couple of minutes. It's the FA Cup draw on Monday. While we're live on air on Monday, the cup draw will be going on, so that fits perfectly. We'll see straight away who Arsenal have drawn. Now, the Premier League are slowly digging into the FA Cup, aren't they? We don't have replays anymore. We have midweek rounds, and it's so special, especially to us olders like myself. The FA Cup is so special. I love it. I can't wait to see the draw on Monday. And we were talking in our little group today and on Twitter, and for some strange reason, right? I want quite a big team in one of the lower leagues away, so we get a massive allocation and we travel somewhere. And I want to go to Sunderland. Don't ask me why I want us to draw Sunderland away. I absolutely don't know, but I hope we draw Sunderland away. Sam, who do you want us to draw, mate? What would suit you?
Do you know what? I said about this earlier, in the chat. I wouldn't mind Charlton or someone like that, like a trip back to the Valley. I don't know, just that away end's just something different when you go to the Valley,
The only problem with that, the only problem with having, say, Charlton or something like that, it's a London fixture. It's going to be impossible to get tickets for anywhere below 45 credits.
I did say as long as we got like a decent like championship team with a decent allocation, if we get a whole back stand, it benefits everyone in that sense because we'd all get tickets and things. So yeah, I can't really have a preference, to be honest.
If we played at Charlton, Sam, we'd get about 6,000 tickets. So everybody that wanted one to get one, wouldn't they? Everyone.
I think Charlton, you'd get quite a lot, because I don't think they'd sell out theirs either, So, but I think it'd be a great place to go back to, the Valley, So
yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
It's a lovely away in that. I love that away in there at the Valley.
Yeah. Ferg, who do you want?
Sunderland or Newcastle again wouldn't be an issue for me because we get a big allocation. I've been to Sunderland a few times. I saw Thierry Henry score his returning goal, and that was absolutely nuts. When Arshavin and him scored.
It was his last one, wasn't it? He won the game in the last minute, wasn't it?
It was just such good memories. That's the last time we were down in the lower tier. They now put us up in the goals before. There's somebody put in the WhatsApp chat, Spurs. We get a huge allocation of Spurs. I just don't know if I want to. I don't want to get into that one. I don't know.
No, I think that if we had to play away,
we're probably going to get them in the League Cup, aren't we? I reckon. I've just got this feeling we're going to get in the semis if they get through.
I think the police would have a word about what allocation we got anyway. If it was Tottenham, we can leave Tottenham alone for now. We win all the time there, but I don't fancy Tottenham. I fancy somewhere different, somewhere out of the Premiership. Charlton would be all right, much less of a journey. People have said about teams in the Midlands, the big teams in the Midlands.
You did mention Millwall earlier, Trev.
Yeah, Millwall. Well, I said Millwall. I didn't say I wanted Millwall. I said Millwall would be interesting. And if we got the whole of that end, both tiers, then we'd get a massive allocation.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if they give us it, though. I think they'd only give us the top tier at Millwall.
So, right, Ferg, who's your fate? Who are we going to draw then? Come on, put your money with.
I don't even know who's in the bloody draw, Trev. I don't know I don't know who's got through.
Fair enough, actually. Fair enough comment. Right, so that's the hour gone. It's gone. It's done, right? We've got done in an hour. Sam, thank you very much for joining us tonight, mate. And making your debut on Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Ferg, thanks for keeping butting in like you normally do. It's been very frustrating, but I've put up with you for a while. We'll be back on Monday night at 7:00 with we'll be talking about Arsenal's win, and we'll go a little bit deeper into Lisbon, I dare say, Ferg, will we? And
we might touch a bit on Lisbon. It's probably going to be more the West Ham game and the United game, really. And we can touch a bit on Lisbon if you remind me.
Hopefully, we'll get some good results tomorrow. So that's some good things to talk about. So,
we can. Yeah, it could turn out to be a very interesting weekend if results go our way. So, Ferg, thank you. Sam, thank you. Ferg's back in charge on Monday. Hopefully I'm feeling a bit better than I am today because I'm still knackered from Lisbon. But so many of you just before we go, so many of you watching tonight. near 200 nearly watching live at this very moment. If you can pop across to YouTube and give us a like or a subscribe, we'd very much appreciate it. If you don't want to, then you don't want to. It's not the end of the world, but it does help if we get a few subscribers.
Hey, Trev,
or you got to have a word, don't you? It comes,
I've got to have one word. Only because we asked people to go to YouTube. We monetized YouTube last Friday, and we've reached the magical figure of £1 after a week. Yes,
there you go. £1 after a week. We're improving all the time. I watched back the midweek podcast this week, and the adverts did me head in, so we might demonetize it again. But we'll have to see. Ferg, Sam, thank you very much. Ferg, cue the music, maestro.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.